Has a big star crossed a line with you?
You have to be specific.
I understand the bullying
Mm-hmm.
thing, and that's
Mhm.
also crossing a line.
Mm-hmm.
Has someone, I mean, I'm going in a casting couch direction.
Yeah, sexually, no. Luckily,
one crosses a line.
I've not had that situation. But I know why, because I had this conversation with my friend the other day, and she was like, "Do you ever think about why that's never happened with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do think that it could have almost happened, but my personality is a little intimidating. So they kind of get a little bit like, "Arey, iske saath nahi." Because she could talk. These kind of people, whether they're stars or not, in the end of the day, inherently they're predators. Inherently, let's be frank, right?
Okay.
They are.
You're saying it doesn't have to be a star?
It could be a star, it could be a non-star, it could be anybody. But what I'm trying to say is when they start to use as a way to bait you into work and to make you submissive, right? They are inherently predators here, right? So those predators, if you look at how their brain works, it's very interesting. They sniff out victims. They scan you and they know your personality and they know which one to use and which one not to use to protect themselves. Like if you're a predator and you're about to approach someone, you're not going to approach someone that has a certain personality trait that could get you in trouble. Right? You'll be very smart, you'll be calculative, and you're going to approach the vulnerable one, the desperate one, the one whose personality is a little bit meek and scared. Sometimes, not all the time, right? Sometimes they get it wrong, their calculation is wrong, and they approach the wrong one who exposes them and destroys their empire. That happens. But most of the time, they know who to approach. And I felt certain moments where I'm like, this person might, but then they back off because they're like, nah, not her. Her personality is a little bit scary. And I can see it. I talk a lot. I come with a certain aura when you approach me. When I walk into a room, I've never given desperate vibes at all. I've been in situations where I've wanted work, but for example, initial days when I first came to India, in 2013, 14, I think it's 2013, my dates are all over the place, but there was somebody who tried to put me in this situation of, if you want this, then you have to do this, and kind of corner me and put me in this very scary situation where I panicked and I felt alone and I didn't know how to handle the situation. I don't have to go into detail about what happened, but I do remember some switch in my brain came and I was like, hey, listen, you think I really want this that bad? I don't. I'm here. It happens. Great. It doesn't happen. I go back to Canada. I didn't come from some village. I go back from Canada. I go back there. I go back to university and I'll go back and study law or study teaching and become a lawyer or a teacher. And what? This doesn't happen. So what? So when you suddenly do that, because when I did that, I suddenly felt that person was like, oh shit, she took the power away from me. Now what do? I can't dangle anything because she doesn't really want it. So they give up, right? That's the situation I was in. Obviously, whatever advice or whatever thing I'm telling you is based on my life experience. I don't know, other people have different life experiences and different notions about it, but this is my take about it. So afterwards, moving on in life, whenever I was in a situation like that or I felt like it's going to happen, I noticed people back off because they're like, her character, personality, who cannot handle it for sure. And then I've had friends who went through it, and those friends of mine are a little more shy, a little more reserved, a little more quiet. And I felt like those kind of predators must have thought that they were much more not easier, but it's more safer for them to do what they wanted to do with them. Yeah, for sure.
See, I'm a guy, so there's only a level of understanding that I can bring to this conversation, but I'm trying to understand this further. From a girl's perspective, you're talking about your friends who are slightly more submissive or
not
quiet.
Not submissive, but like, they
vulnerable.
Well, nice. They're just nice people. Sometimes I'm not that nice. You know what I mean? I can be a bitch. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I'm like, why am I like this? But I'm like this. I come and attack through my words, through my demeanor. And it's just the hustler side of mine from back in the day. That's why I'm like this. But it scares people sometimes, especially these kind of people.
Because of that fear, I mean, if it's actually a superstar that's being a predator or a massive producer or a director that's being a predator, Are there girls who unwillingly give in?
Yeah. Oh, listen. A lot of people be like, well, why did she go? Why did she meet that person? Or why was she wearing what she was wearing? Or why was she entertaining the situation? In the end of the day, whether you're a man or a woman and somebody proposes to you these kind of things in exchange for something, immediately you are put in a situation where you can't say no. And they know this. So most people, 90% of people that say that just go for it or do whatever they do, it's because they were not given a choice. And those people know they're not giving you a choice if they're saying you really want it that bad. You really need work that bad. You really need to, and it's not just our industry, Ranveer. It's in all industries, by the way. And not just industries. It could happen in the most random situations. And you're just like, people sniff out vulnerable people and desperate situations. And if you really need money, or if you need to work, or if you need certain things, and if they're saying it, you need to do this for this, automatically you have no choice. And they know that.
Couple of things that I want to say. Firstly, your 46 million followers on Instagram are also an armor.
For sure.
In terms of finance. Yes. And that's what a lot of young professionals need to understand, especially in media. Mm-hmm. Everyone's a content creator now.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I am too. I make money from YouTube. I make money from content I put out, you know.
I pray that you get everything that you want.
Thank you.
But in saying that, even if you never sign a film, mm-hmm. you're financially going to take care of yourself forever.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because... not just because of those 46 million people, mm-hmm. but that's a massive part of your 100%. Finances.
That's why but here's the thing, Ranveer, like I'm going to tell you from when I was growing up, because you're just talking about Bollywood. I'm talking about even when I was 19, 18, 17, 16, 20, back in the day when I was hustling, doing all the jobs that I was doing, you know, from working at McDonald's to working at a shawarma place to working at a telemarketing place. And I was doing double shifts to performing at people's events. I did everything, right? Even at that time, I met people who would try to corner me or dangle things in front of me and, you know, be like, well, if you want this, then you need to do this. And that wasn't even Bollywood. That was just the streets of Toronto. You know what I mean? Like the most random place. So as a woman, now even as a man at this point, you will meet people who are at a powerful position and they use it to their advantage in exchange for something else. And you have to know how to behave at that time. So even at that time, I never allowed any of that stuff to happen.
You also probably need a radar.
But you build a radar, you develop a radar.
How do you pick up on predator energy?
It's a thing. It really is a thing, especially if you're in tune with your life experiences and your journey, you start to remember certain characteristics and certain things about people. And then as you grow up, you're like, I've seen this before.
The truth is in the touch,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Unfriendly touch.
Oh, not just that. That wo to dur hai. It's just when they enter, when you just see them, you're like, wait a second.
What is it in the look? Tells you, okay, predator.
Well, if you read energies really well, you can tell from the way they look at you. You can see from their body language, the way they're talking. There's just a way. And sometimes they catch you off guard. Sometimes you don't even know. It takes a whole conversation. And then in the end of the conversation, you're like, oh.
Are these the most dangerous ones?
No, those are just, they're all dangerous, right? And it's also how you make it. Sometimes they are dangerous, but it's how you behave in the situation and how you get yourself out of it. It just saddens me that there are people in the world that will want to use your desire for something or your situation to their advantage. It's very sad.
How do you differentiate between a guy coming up to you with genuine nice intention versus these predators? I mean, what if a guy is hitting
Never really
you?
Thought about that.
But you don't mind the energy of the guy. It's like positive energy.
It's so hard to say now because there are so many different type of predators. There are sexual predators who want right? And then there are clout predators who want to use you for your clout.
It's called fame.
Yeah. I didn't know you could swear on the podcast. Oh my God. Bindas. Thank God. There are literally clout motherfuckers who will court you, who will do everything to make you feel like they want you. And they actually just want your clout. They just want to use you for your fame.
Guys.
Yes.
Who want to date you for your fame.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm sure that's a thing. I'm just confirming.
Yeah,
for the sake of
not
narrative.
with me. Not with me. I mean, this is fully guarded, okay? And that's why you don't see me running around with guys or dating or, this, oh, I think she's with this one or that. I stay alone because I got to filter everyone and know what everyone's intention is before I allow them in my vicinity. But I see it is happening in front of me. I see it in my industry. People get married for clout. People use, these wives or husbands for networking, for circles, for money, for relevancy. Kya say shadi karni hai so that I can make sure I'm relevant for the next 3 years because she's got a few films releasing and they were doing well in the box office. So I got to ride that wave. People are that calculative. Those are predators too, no? Don't you think?
Yeah. Not everything is about.
Yeah.
I think everything that a human being does comes out of the motivation for power
and money. You know what I mean? And fame also.
Power.
But you could be famous and not powerful. You could be powerful and not famous also, right? So
fair.
We got to talk about 4 categories, and the amount of the crazy stuff that guys and girls will do, they will destroy their whole personal life for money, fame, power, etc., etc. Like nothing is worse than getting married to someone that you don't even love and living with them for years.
You see that around?
Come on now. Most of the people in our industry are doing that nonsense, just because they want to be in the right camps and circles and they want to be relevant because they don't know where their career is going to go. So they need to, have backup plan A, plan B, plan C. I totally understand being worried about your career and your not potential, but your name and your brand. I understand but I don't understand sacrificing your personal life and your mental health and your happiness, because in the end of the day, work is work and home life and personal life is something else. You can't mix both of the things together because you'll never be happy. And then you wonder why you're depressed and, suicidal and, you can't sleep at night. It's because you've mixed both things together unnecessarily due to greed and bad intentions. Your intentions were wrong to begin with. I see this all the time and I'm like, this is crazy. I understand working hard to stay where you are in the industry, doing multiple things in the industry, maybe acting, singing, this to stay relevant and make money. I understand trying to build a proper network base and being a part of certain camps, but then you got to work towards those things, right? But to start making personal life decisions because of clout and stuff, I think it's like a predator. It's almost predatory for sure. Because the other person doesn't even know you're doing this. The other person thinks you love them and you're married to them, or you love them and you're dating them, or jo bhi hai, and actually you have something else going on. That is scary.
There's a younger version of me that would have said, you know what, this is probably the substitute for a lack of discipline and hard work and self-belief. That the fact that you have to think about plan B in the first place. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm older, I kind of know that destiny plays a role. At least that's what I've learned through the show. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that destiny is the ultimate thing. Mm-hmm. I think that, of course, it's like half hard work, half fate, luck, whatever. Mm-hmm. Which is why I just question these realities. Is it the fact that they've tried with everything that they had, all the discipline that they had, and then they're forced to do this? Or the fact that...
Forced to what, be a predator?
No, forced to marry for clout and forced to alter their personal lives for the sake of their careers. That is possibly the biggest sacrifice that I can think of on a human level. Other than trading your soul with the devil.
No, I just think that too. Of course, there's a lot of people who sell their soul for the devil. They sell their soul for everything. But there are also some of them. Some of them just have really
destiny.
Of course, I believe in
It's a
destiny.
thing, right? Like the events are planned. All you can
Everything
do
is, I
focus.
believe everything is written. Yes.
Your job is just to like work hard, stay disciplined, stay focused, etc. And then you expect that destiny will do the job.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element of karma. Be a kind person.
Yeah. And then you said, for example, then destiny doesn't play the way you want it to be played. So then maybe they might do the things that we just discussed. But you have to have a different type of spirit to act even off camera. Because technically you're acting, right? You've made certain decisions. You've dragged certain people in those decisions, and you're playing a role for money or for a career or for fame or for relevancy. Some of them just want to be relevant, you know?
Why?
Because they're fucking crazy. Because it's a drug, right? Like fame is a drug. Money is a drug. If you don't have self-control, if you're not disciplined, if you don't fear God, there's a lot of things that come into play. Then the devil himself in fame will attack. And when he attacks, he will take control of your spirit and your mind and your morals and your values. So suddenly you start making certain decisions and doing things in your life that go against your morals and values. And you don't even care anymore because you're like, I need the money. I need the fame. I need to be relevant. I need to stick around. I need to be here. It's crazy. Had you had the discipline, self-control, the fear of God, the faith, etc., you would be able to balance the importance of money, fame, work, relevancy with real life and realize that this is great. I have this or I had this, but I cannot sell myself and my entire life for this forever because this is not forever. What remains forever is you, your person, your thoughts, your actions, your good deeds, your spirit, your faith. All of these things remain forever. Your relationships with people, what good and bad you've did, how many people you've helped, have you left a lasting positive mark on someone's life? These are the things that matter, right? Fame and all these things, they're great. Look, I'm famous. I have money too. I've got the success and I have people who admire me and I'm doing all the things I've always wanted to do. I'm fulfilling my dreams. This is all great. But I'm doing this in the cleanest way possible by working really hard, giving all my time and effort, building on my skill, working on myself, and being good to people. That's it. But I'm not manipulating and making decisions in my life and manipulating the people around me to get these things done. This is where I'm like, bro, you're fucking crazy.
I miss my childhood.
Me too. Sometimes I'm like, I miss my childhood too. You know, isn't it so crazy that when we're kids, we want to grow up and become adults so quickly? And we're like, gosh, maybe, you know, heels pehenti hu, ya makeup lagati hu, ya whatever. We see all these things, and then we grow up and we're adults, and we're like, it wasn't that great. I might want to go back to being a kid.
You're desperate to be an adult when you're a kid.
It's so crazy. Some of these kids, I'm like, shut up. Stay being a kid and enjoy it while it lasts, because you're gonna have to pay taxes and bills when you get older.
Yeah. The moment you're 18 or 22, you have that wake-up call, and then you really, really, really miss being a kid.
Yeah, I had mine when I was 16. That was my wake-up call, and I'm like,
began working.
yeah, my first job.